Hey there, Tyler. I saw your post in the forum there about your upcoming change, life change and move. Congratulations on what's happening in your life. You mentioned about doing some anxiety about the what's coming, about some concerns about success and what would happen if you weren't able to succeed in the new place that you're headed towards, and how you're going there alone, and the experience of traveling by yourself, and all of that stuff. And I wanted to share with you, you're reading your message reminded me of an experience, a familiar experience to me. I like to hike, and I like to hike into places where there are no people. And I like to sometimes stay overnight. I don't do it as much as I used to now that I have a family. I like to be at home with them. But when I was young and single, I would often, go venture off into the middle of nowhere with just my bag and stay the night, usually without a tent or anything like that. And I can tell you, reading your message in the forum reminded me of the few. Hover under this light here for a second. It reminded me of the hour or so just before nightfall, just before the sun goes down. When I'm in a remote camp in the middle of nowhere, when I have my sleeping bag laid out, I've started up a little fire, I've prepared a little food, and the sun is going down, and the stars are beginning to come out, and I know that there's no chance I can get back. I don't even know necessarily how I got there. I never would hike with a compass or anything like that. I had have to use dead reckoning to find my way back through the canyon. So once the light was down, that was it. And strange sounds would begin to emerge out of the night. And I let's move again. I really felt anxious. I felt lonely. I felt concerned. I felt worried that I may never see the dawn. And that always happened. It happened every time. Right? I can't think of a single time that I would be on my own like that I didn't have that feeling. Now, if I went back to the same place again and stayed the night like that, which I rarely did, but if I did that, it wouldn't be as much because you'd done it before. So what I'm trying to say is, the anxiety you're feeling is perfectly normal for a human being about to rest his or her head on ground that they've never been in before, and in circumstances that are unfamiliar to them. What you're about to do is perfectly within the bounds of something worthy of being anxious about. Let me tell you what else happened. Usually those nights that I would stay like that would be rather awkward nights. I'd stoke the fire. I'd always kept a good supply of wood to get the fire kind of big, because I would be anxious about about everything. And I'd kind of hover close and the sounds and like that. And usually I'd go to bed pretty quick if I was nervous. And then when I'd wake up in the middle of the night, the fire would be burned down to just smoldering embers. And there would be no more. The security of that light is gone. And talk about a little bit of anxious then, and especially if I have to take a leak. I have to get up and climb out of the sleeping bag and walk away. Something about the just being in the bag made me feel better. And I would stand there under the canopy of stars, somewhere in the middle of the Mojave Desert, most likely, which was my favorite stomping ground. Somewhere in the middle of the Mojave Desert, with this blanket of light above my head. In most cases, maybe the moon rising above a ridge and making the canyons and the hills just big lurching shadows of giant hulking masses, and strange sounds of coyotes, yip, 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 the strange sounds that coyotes make, or whatever else there may be. Tarantulas walking on the ground and rattlesnakes on the hunt, they would like to find their way into a sleeping bag. All these things were on my mind, and I would get up and I would stand there in the middle of the night, and I would say, to heck with all this stuff. I'd still rather be doing this. I would still rather face these things and get out there and do that for the pitter patter in my heart and the experience that was going on. And in every case, I woke up the next morning, the sun came up, and the feeling that came as the sun rose, especially if it was in the winter, if I was camping in the winter and it was so cold outside, as the sun rose above the mountain and blasted light upon me, and I realized I had survived the night. I had survived the next day. I would get out of my sleeping bag. It didn't matter how cold or weary or if I'd been sleeping on rocks. I felt so good. I felt so alive. Because I'd really done it. I'd ventured out and done it. I put my pack on and I'd have a little breakfast. My special K sandwich, which was my favorite out there. Just a little special K cereal on some pieces of bread. put it together, wolf that thing down, take a little bit of water, put my pack back on, stuff it on, put the pack on, and start on my way again. And that was what I lived for. The anxiety of the anticipation of the evening, the difficulty of actually experiencing the evening, the night, the middle of the night in a lonely place, far away from security and friends and family, and not knowing what's out there, what creepy crawlies might be crawling into bed with me. All of that stuff was worth it for the waking up the next morning and having survived that night, having all those experiences and having lived it and be able to walk back. And now, at my age, to be able to look back and I can recall all of these places, these middle of the nowhere spots where I have rested my head under the stars. And I'm so grateful for those experiences. Did I get bloodied and bruised? And was there danger? Yes. Was there chances that I could have come back or not come back at all? Yes, indeed. But I wouldn't have given it up for anything. And that's what's going to happen for you as you venture forward. You're in that point right now where you're about to leave. I'm sure it was really exciting before you actually got to that point, but you're about to leave. The night is falling, right? The stars are beginning to come out. You're realizing there's no turning back. And what's worse is your family's gone. You're all alone for the holidays. That's okay. That's just going to make you, that's going to make you tougher in the long run. Like they used to say back in the old days, make them tough, but it really will. And then you're about to undergo the adventure, the actual stepping out into the night when you actually begin your drive across to your new home. And then when you get there to the other side, when you get settled in, when you get yourself with your new circumstance and your new situation, and you will feel like I did when the sun came up the next morning and the dawn has risen and you made it to the other end, because you're gonna make it. You're gonna make it. The worst thing that's gonna happen is that you won't get hurt. That's the worst thing that's going to happen. The best thing that's going to happen to you is you're going to get hurt. You're going to make some mistakes. You're going to have some failures out there. You're going to have a lot of failures in life. And if you're really, 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 really lucky, you'll have every scrap of pride and self-confidence. I'm talking long term. Every scrap of pride and self-confidence wrung straight out of you and survive it and carry on and clamber back up and keep on struggling. And that's going to train you if you can do these little things now. I mean little things. In terms of the things that can happen to you. You're lucky. You live in the first world, and then you don't have to really face the serious things like starvation and so. You know what I mean. There are people in the world who are experiencing things and suffering in ways that no one should have to do. And then I'm just putting things all in perspective. The stuff that you and I are experiencing are trivial in comparison. So the stuff that's going on right now really is. But there will be things in the course of your life that will happen that may not involve you venturing out into the unknown. It may all happen inside of here. If you can survive that stuff, you'll be in good shape. And this stuff that you're doing now is going to make you prepared to survive that stuff. The thing to remember is climb back up. Don't let it all get down, because you're going to be dead and you're going to be dead soon enough anyway. So just keep on doing it. Be optimistic. Be free-spirited. Have fun. The worst thing that can happen is you're reduced down to zero. You got nothing left. All your money's gone. All your energy is gone. All your ambition is gone. But still, then you've got your. If you really, really strive. If you're a good man, be a good man. Be a good man. True to your heart. Figure out what's good. Identify in your mind where your values lie, and then be true to that purpose at all. Behave when no one's looking. If you can behave when no one's looking in the way that is right, for the right reasons, then you're going to be okay no matter what happens. So just get on. I'm getting into other topics. Just get on there. Go out there. Hopefully you'll get bloodied. Hopefully you'll get bruised. Hopefully you'll fail a little bit here and there. Hopefully you'll fail a lot here and there sometimes. And then the best thing of all is you'll survive that. You'll stand up again and you'll walk on again, and you'll be a better man for it. And I've got all the confidence in you. Go for it, buddy. Go for it. And have a happy holiday. Hey, the bench is empty. I came on down to grab myself a goodie at the bench. I can do it now. Thanks for joining me on a walk to the bench, Tyler. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.